Today we're lucky to have Alson come from Majel, Marshall Islands, and he's going to be talking to us about whatever we want to talk about. Kofa, canoes, Marshall Islands, he knows everything. NNC, anything national nuclear that we want to know. And I think we should start off by introducing ourselves, and then he'll introduce himself too.
But one thing that actually connects us is when we talk about the Kofa Nation, one thing that actually connects us is the canoes. We obviously were migrator, and we are still migrators. We migrate all over the most important tools that we use are canoes. It's not just to migrate, but it's actually for us in the Marshall is the best tool for our sustainable livelihood. That can just take us from point A to point B, but also it's a tool. It's a tool for life. In order to build a canoe, in order to learn the canoes, you have to learn the land that you live on. You have to learn how to plant the trees for the canoes, where to plant the trees, because certain part of the canoes, you need curvature, for example. So in order to have the natural curvature, you need to plant the trees on the windward side of the island. So there's a process to build the tree, all the way to building the canoe. Who's going to do what? Because in a small island like the Marshall Islands, when he's building canoes, all men run there. Everybody have a task. In other countries, and that's what makes Marshall Islands pretty unique. And I guess because it's so small, when it's time to build a canoe, everybody have to be there. There's a task for the woman, there's a task for the men, the boys, the girls, and the kids. In other countries, when you build a canoe, there's a canoe house, there's a men's house. There's restriction within the culture. But the Marshallese, everybody have to work, everybody have a task. Although we do cheerleading, they call it jim. When you build when the process is on, then there's a part what they call jim. Jim means sharpening. So, but you don't just sharpen the tools, you have to sharpen the spirit. The men have to be, their spirits, the women, their spirit have to be sharpened. So that's where jim comes in, which means chanting, singing. So there's constant happening in that process. Of course, today we call it cheerleading. When you do the thing, you see the girls doing the cheerleading. But cheerleading is not something new. It's something that has always been part of the process. So that's your hunger, your ideas. That's when ideas are coming in. And then you get to the point where we call kujira, which is eat rocks like octopus. The reason they say kujira is put that here. This shell, this is a giant clam, and we also call it raba, which means stone. And this is what you build canoes with. So they say kujira, mean this is your food. Mm-hmm. So when you build, you don't go home and say, hey honey, you gotta come in, I'll be there. Mm-hmm. Still, because now you're full of spirit and you really want to finish it. You want to finish the canoe. So when the canoe's done, then there's a ceremony for it. I mean, there's so many processes. The ceremony is a woven rope from the canoe to the rocks on land. You use the same stone and cut that. You cut the umbilical cord. The canoe will be part of part of Mother Nature until you cut the umbilical cord, then it will be independent and turn into a vessel of devotion. So there's another process. Put the canoe in the water doesn't mean that that's it, you go fish. You have to learn where you put the canoe, where you wrap the canoe, take the canoe, because now you have to make sure that the reef around that area doesn't get, you don't crush the rocks. We have traditional sailing races. So each atoll they build canoes just so they can get to the national races. And by doing that, we're actually building canoes so they can go fish. In the Marshalls, health is not one of the best things that you can talk. We have diabetes, we have so many other, health-related issues. And it's because of lack of exercises and all this. So having the kids build canoes and go bring fish, that's a healthy, fun way to do it. And actually, they also bring the families together. In the central of Majel, families trying to find jobs, to work hard. At the time with the kids, there's a gap there. And by providing these kind of programs, they're actually closing the gap with the kids and the parents, because now they are able to provide. They're in that canoe race. Use our culture in ways that will benefit us. So I can safely say that the canoe in the Marshall Islands will be there forever, because now we have so many kids that have gone through the program, and we have so many countries that are actually looking at it and saying, wow, that is a smart thing to do. Use something that is off that island that will bring cultural pride to the young people, be interested in learning it and utilize what they've learned to benefit the island. And not only that, but when you learn, like I said before, there's a process. So you use that process in your life. So a lot of the kids that have gone through the program, they've gone back to school, they have jobs. Some decide to go to job corps. Of course, that's a big thing. That's big for them because they're dropouts. So they are able to, with the basic English, basic math, basic computer course now we have in the program, they're able to go back and get their GED. And from GED, there's some kids that actually have gone to college and graduates, and something that will introduce you to you and your culture, something that will make you feel good about and feel proud of where you are.
Igus kananas